Are you struggling to come up with ideas for your social media content? Watch this video where I'll show you an automated system that gets you inspirational content, gets you newsletters, and gives you insights regarding what content you can build out of it for your own channel. My name is David. This video will be quite short because the system is quite simple on the technical side, but I found it extremely valuable in coming up and with ideas to record videos and really the ideation phase of doing content. So, how this system works is that we're going to take newsletters in the field that you're creating content in. It doesn't matter if it's, for me, that's automation. For someone, it's brain health, it's marketing, it can be copywriting, anything really that you're making content out of. And what you want to do is aggregate those newsletters. And obviously, the old way would be reading the newsletters, getting the ideas from them. And even that, by far, is a idea that I feel like is very valuable. I don't feel like enough people are utilizing that, especially when it comes to the more niche newsletters, because a lot of the times they can give you good ideas before they become mainstream. So that's one thing that you should definitely follow for. And in this video, we will take it a step further. So instead of just you reading the email, we will have a system that automatically gets and classify these emails and give you your own twist or your own ideas regarding how to make content out of it. So let's get right into it. And I prepared this small chart showing up how it works. And the first thing that you need to do is create email account. Now, this is not mandatory, but it will be way easier just for you for keeping your inbox clean and simple. Create a separate email account for this, please. It doesn't matter who is the provider. It should be able to get connected to automations. We will be building automations through make.com. For me, though, one thing that I will mention is don't use Gmail. And there is a simple reason for that. If we're talking about Gmail as in Google Workspace, the work accounts, that's completely fine. But if we're talking about personal Gmails, Google has restrictions due to privacy on how you can implement automations and how you can connect it through the APIs. It is possible, but it takes additional approximately 15 minutes of very technical stuff that I feel like for most of you guys out there, it will be just easier to choose a different provider. For me, I'm using Zoho Mail for this. To be honest, don't use Zoho Mail for anything else, but this is a use case that I find valuable. Now, after you create the email account, now you need to find newsletters to follow. And maybe some of you already have ideas about the newsletters in your field that you're following. In that case, great. Just write them down, create a new Google Sheet, have them all in one place. If not, do your research. Now, I would recommend using some of these software tools out there to help you. You can use Perplexity, you can use ChatGPT. I would recommend maybe more Perplexity or Manus AI, which is a kind of agentic search AI that will just go out of its way and find the specific content just for you. After you have them and you have them written down in a Google Sheet, your next step is going to be subscribed to them. And now these steps are really the manual part that you need to put into building this system. You just go on the website, sign up with the email that you just created. In some cases, you will need to confirm the newsletter subscription after. So just be aware of this. In some cases, there is some additional work that you will need to do in this regard. And after you subscribed to all of them, what you want to do now is use automation to pre-read them and extract the important information. And then obviously brainstorm YouTube and short form content or anything else that you're doing really. If you're writing blog posts, great. You can set up your AI to generate some blog post ideas. If you're doing some trendy TikTok videos, you can definitely connect it to some sites that show you trends, maybe show you how to flip that, how to connect it in this way. Now, I will be doing it for Reels and for YouTube long form content. Okay, so what we will do is open Make, and as you can see, this automation is extremely simple. The first module that you will have is module that's fetching emails. And in Make, it's just this mail module. And then what you choose is either watch email or get emails. What I'm using is get emails. I just get it like once a day or twice a day. That's more than enough for this scenario. Not all of the email providers work great with the automatic getting emails, with the automatic fetching the emails as they come. So I'm using get emails module. And what we have in here is that you connect your account, right? Then you choose the folder and few important settings to be aware of, I guess, so that everything is working properly. The first thing is you will be filtering the emails based on criteria of the emails being unread. That's how you ensure that you're not running this automation on the same emails again and again. And for this to work, what you also need to do is check this box, mark messages as read when fetched. So basically what that means is that the automation will run, it will get the email, and it will mark it as read. So then when you run it in the future, be it 6 hours later, 12 hours, 1 day later, it won't fetch that email again. Pretty simple, right? After that, what you want to do is feed it into AI of your choice. But to be honest, lately, and I'm recording this in June 2025, I find Claude to work way better for these kind of tasks. I feel like Claude is able to analyze these kind of texts better and come up with text and ideas that are a bit human. Sometimes I feel like ChatGPT, and I love ChatGPT. I use it all the time, but for these use cases, usually the outputs are very general. So what we want to do is use Claude. Now, if you look at Claude in Make, and I have no clue why Carl.com just appeared. When you look at Claude, you don't really have many options. You have either create a prompt or make an authorized API call. So that's what we are going to do. You need Claude account for that. So if you don't have it, just Google Claude API account. And in here, build with Claude, you just sign up, you create an account. You need to have some money for the API. It's the same as with ChatGPT. $5, I believe, is the lowest amount you can put in there. And then when you use it, any usage is deducted from the money that you put in. Now, there are 3 different kinds of models that Claude has as of now. The first one, it's called Haiku, which is the fastest model. It can, as they say, execute lightweight actions, and I wouldn't use it for this scenario. What I use Haiku is things like task classification and similar. The ones that I would be choosing in between is either Sonnet or Opus. So Opus is similar to O1 with ChatGPT. Sonnet, we could probably put it on the level of, GPT-4 or 4.5. I'm going to be using Sonnet. The Opus obviously is the best one, but to be honest, the Opus model is quite expensive, and we're processing large amounts of input tokens. We're not processing that many output tokens. There's actually quite a few of them, but we'll be using a lot of input tokens. So again, based on your resources and also playing around with it, I tried Opus, I tried Sonnet. I don't feel like the Opus results for this specific task are that much better to justify the cost. So that's what I will be using. What's also useful to know is that if you search Claude API models, you will see the model overview and you will see what is the newest version. That's important because it's one of the parameters that you will be passing into the API. So just Google Claude API models. This is where you're going to get. The model will probably be, the newest model will probably be different by the time you're watching. So now what we want to do is use the Claude module, and the endpoint that we're going to be calling is v1/messages. Very simple. I may put this into the comment. We're using a post method because we're sending request to Claude trying to get something up. Now it's application JSON, entropic version. This is important. If you don't put in entropic version, it won't work. And this is the version of the API. So most likely, and again, you can check this on Claude website, but most likely it will still be the same. I'm recording this in 2025, and the newest version of the API is from June. It's from June 2023. So it will probably be the same version. It's not the model. Don't mistake these two. Version of the API versus the model that you're using, very different. And now this is how the body looks. Again, I will not put these specifically into comment. What I will do is I will give you a way to download the whole automation. So you can just get it, plug it into your business, be done with it. The model, this is the thing that we were choosing in here. You will see which one is the newest. It will probably still work with the default one that I have in, even in the future, but obviously you probably want to use the newest model that there is available. Let me just see how I look. I have this thing on wall that holds my camera, and I feel like it's moving a bit. So I will be just checking during the video if my camera is stable. Now, maximum tokens, this really depends on you, but we're talking about output tokens in here, and 4,000 should be more than enough for our use case. Temperature, again, when I get the documentation, what basically temperature mean is that you have some prompt and the temperature is telling you how creative the output of the AI is going to be. Now, for me, to be honest, I don't like when the AI is too creative, because then it starts just hallucinating and making things up. I believe the lowest amount is 0, the highest is 2. I'm using 0.75. So I'm using it more on the restricted, kind of very exact results, which I found to work better. And now you will use the role user and you will use content of the message. Now, this is a bit more difficult than ChatGPT. If you look at the GPT module, OpenAI, what you do is just create a completion, and let me connect it to show it to you. If I would be just using the ChatGPT module, right? What I would do is I could just select any model. We'll not go through that right now. And we already have this prepared. So we would put our message. We could put some system prompt. And we could put our message as a user, just write it as a text. It would work perfectly. Unfortunately, I honestly don't know why, because Claude is quite big, but they don't have this for Make. So you need to write the request yourself. That's why I'm explaining it, going through it, and yeah, that's why it's a bit more difficult. One problem that you can get to is the fact that the input needs to be a JSON string, which with the old formatting in Make can be difficult to get right. You can face a lot of errors. So what is the easiest thing to do is just use transform to JSON module. And in here, you can just have plain text. You can add your variables and it will all get parsed as JSON so you don't face any errors. Now, regarding the prompt will probably develop with how you use this automation. Maybe you will notice that you would like a more of a certain thing, maybe a less of a certain thing, more sources or anything like that. You will probably change it. But this is a basic structure that works really well for me. And so basically what I want this to be is an expert content strategist in a field that you're doing, right? For me, it's no-code automations and AI. For you, probably it will be something else. One thing that I'm telling the AI to analyze is if it's a sales pitch, because a lot of the people are using newsletters as a business, which is completely legitimate, but that's not where the value is for us in this scenario. So if it's any sales pitch, anything like buy my newsletter subscription, my group, whatever, I want to filter that out. I don't really want to do anything with it because it's not relevant to this use case. The next thing I want to do is create a maximum of 2 sentences of too long didn't read summary, where I want in very easy language, I want the basic information and summary of what happened in the article or newsletter. What was it about, right? Another thing that I want is Instagram Reel summary, where this is basically where we're coming to the ideation phase. So now the AI is ideating what short form content could be created out of this. It's a bit different for Reels and for YouTube, obviously, because the target audiences, the content type, the length are very different. So that's why we have it separated. What we have is target audience as a parameters. And again, these will be different for you. So feel free to customize them. We have target audience, we have tone, we have content style, we have length, and we have focus. Parameters that will help to improve the outputs. Another one that we have is YouTube video summary, which is again a bit different target audience, right? It's maybe a bit longer, at least the video will be a bit longer. And again, you can describe whatever tone, target audience, content style, focus, value, just anything that helps the AI understand your content or what you're aiming for, really. And then the last thing that's very, very important is that you want to return it as a JSON object and give it an example. So first of all, we gave it the example of how this should look. Feel free to just switch it up for your input in here. All of these, obviously. And one more important thing with Claude specifically, you should write to return it without any AI formatting or any special characters, because what Claude sometimes does is that when it's outputting JSON, it will wrap it in kind of back apostrophes. I don't know how to call them exactly. That's what Claude uses to render it as the code blocks when you're using the online version. But in this case, we don't want that, because otherwise then we can't work with the data. We can't parse the JSON properly because it's not a proper JSON. And then the last part is newsletter content. After we have that, we can run this. We will get results with, let's see in here. You see, we can see video summary, we can see real summary. This was a newsletter about OpenAI. About Meta. So Mark Zuckerberg poaching AI developers from OpenAI. So there is the information about that. There are some angles on it on real summary. For instance, this could be very interesting, very catchy for real, right? Something like Zuckerberg literally has a group chat called Recruiting Party, where he plots to steal OpenAI best researchers. So already a good piece of content. And then again, video summary for longer videos. Maybe from this newsletter, I wouldn't use any of the summaries for long form video. I would do the short one, not the long one. But that's the beauty of it, right? You're not aiming to just copy every piece of content. You're just trying to get all important ideas in one place very easily, already kind of pre-chewed, and just have a simple life with then implementing it into your own content. And the last thing that you want to do, what I'm doing, is now you need to parse the output of the Claude AI so you can work with it further. What I also do is I save the email to Google Doc as HTML. Google Docs can render HTML, so in case you need to, you can look at how the email looks. You can actually read it through it without going to the burner email that you set up. And then what I just do is that I add it to Google Sheets. So I add the date, the sender email, that is newsletter, because I have automations like this for other types of content like YouTube, etc. Web view link, the TLDR, short form ideas, long form ideas. And yeah, that's it. This is what I use to get ideas about my content. Then you can just go through all of them. And, if you're subscribing to enough newsletters, you will probably get few of them a day at least. And you have basically unlimited content ideas. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I will leave the make scenario down as well. So what you can do is you can create a new make scenario, do import blueprint in here, and just upload the file that I am using in here. And that's all for today. Again, if you have any questions or any ideas, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be looking forward to a next video some other day.